don't know. To be honest, this makes me happy to be surrounded by these books. I'm like, I'll die by books. I don't care. Death by physical TBR. Sign me up. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on my floor, we talk about everything and all things books. So today, books. So many books. I mean, truly, if you can't tell by the title of this video, this is truly like death by books. So many books. So yeah, so a little backstory about this. So I am, as you know, building my library, my personal library. And since joining BookTube and just enjoying, not even BookTube, but even before BookTube, when I joined last year, my resurgence of reading has just driven this thing and this whole scenario. You'll see it in it. Mainly I buy a lot of my books used, and I buy them at library bookstores or book sales a lot of the times. And so yeah, a lot of these books I bought at library book sales. Obviously not this one. So you're looking at this one, obviously not this one. But in general, that is what I buy a lot of my books at. So yeah, I've been building my library, and what is great has been great because I love historical romance, as you know, and a lot of times that is what we're able to find. So a lot of historical romances all the time. I have been able to find some few gems for fantasy because it's also my other favorite genre, and a few contemporary as well. So yeah, so a lot of these I got for like 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, $2. One book, the most expensive I purchased was $4 that was used. Obviously a few of these books are new, but not the majority are used books that I bought at library book sales. So yeah, these are all the books I bought at the end of July, right around the time that we were really getting excited for the romance readathon in August, which was the historical romance theme. So yeah, I bought a lot of that. Also, I was able to find a really cool part of the Bridgerton series with the step back, and that really kind of brought the resurgence as well. So yeah, end of July, and as far as today for November. So November, I am filming this video on November 7th, and that is all the purchases. So that's like almost 5 months worth of purchases of books. So yeah. And this is over several worth of like library book sales over time. So every couple of weeks I would go to one or go to two, and I could get like 30 at one and then get like 20 at another. So it's about 30 to 50 books that I'm getting at a time. So it was really nice, and it's something I really enjoy. So I am, again, really excited for these books and being able to build my library and doing some cool challenges for next year as well. So tune in for that as well. And without further ado, one last thing before I get started, I will also be doing, this will be probably in parts. I'm going to guess at least 2 parts, possibly 3. 3 parts of this book haul, and then I will be doing, make sure you stay tuned in for, I will be doing a physical TBR video, and then also reorganizing my bookshelves, and also just doing a doing a bookshelf tour as well. So yeah, so let's get started. Alright, so I don't know exactly how many I have here, but I'm gonna guess. I think I did a rough counting estimate. I think I have the exact total might be this amount. I may be wrong, but I think it's 188. So 188 books, guys. But yeah, it's a great thing. I'm so excited to show you. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna do these in parts. we're gonna try to go by genre, and then historical romance I'm gonna go by author, because I'll be able to score a lot of series of some OG authors as well. So this is gonna be this kind, we're gonna break it down. All right, so without further ado, today is November 7th, and I know, what am I doing filming and not reading Iron Flame? It's okay, guys, it's okay, I swear. As you can tell, I pre-ordered this back in June or July, whenever that announcement was made. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm actually listening to Fourth Wing on audio, which I might just skip and just read like the last 2 chapters of Fourth Wing and just get started on this. I am currently reading Assistant to the Villain, that new release that I got from as a library checkout. So I might just pause that because it's not due for another week. So I just might pivot and go straight to this. So we'll see. It's the middle of the week, so for me it's not really big of a rush. Usually I'm able to read more on the weekends, so that's kind of why I'm not in a rush, because I work full-time and I am the main breadwinner, so it doesn't really matter so forth and during the week. So my brain is just really tired at the end of the night. So yeah, so yeah, I'm really excited to read this, and I'm definitely probably going to start this tomorrow, to be honest. So yeah, look forward to this. Next, these next 2 was actually something really sweet that my husband did for me. He went to the store and he was like, hey, can I get you, is there any books that you want? And I'm like, or that I need? I'm like, well, need is the key term. I don't need, but I would like. So I gave him 2 pictures, and I'm like, so he picked up both of these because I didn't know which one was which, because these just released. So really excited. This one is Fall of Ruin and Wrath. This is a new fantasy series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have read up to book 3 of the Fun, Blood, and Ash series, so I'm looking forward to starting this. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to try to finish those series and then get started on this, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. So I probably won't get started to this until like early next year, or who knows when I'll pick it up, but fairly soon, that's for sure. And then next is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. This is like a spin-off series of her Kingdom of the Wicked series. I have just finished book 1, and that was a 4-star for me. And I am looking forward to starting this one after I finish that trilogy. So, excuse me, I think that's like a YA series that kind of grows into like new adult, I think. But yeah, and I think this one follows a different demon prince. So, I've heard mixed things about this one, so I'm a little apprehensive of it. But I will, yes, look forward to getting to this one eventually. Next I have this one. These 2 I was actually able to get from one of the mission points at work, and that is Iron Gold and Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I do own the first 3 of the trilogy, so this is the first and second of like the 4th and 5th in that 6-book series, but it's kind of like the second arc of that series. So I've heard mixed things about the first one. But I am looking forward to getting to this one. This is kind of very Hunger Games-esque. I mean, everything feels like it's kind of compared to that, but like a fantasy sci-fi twist, I hear. So I am looking forward to getting to this series, and that will probably be part of one of my TBRs for 2024, I'm pretty sure. So that is the plan. So there we go. And next I have The Final Gambit. I do own book 1 and 2. This is a YA series, so I think this is kind of very similar. I think it's like a YA fantasy romance, and I am looking forward to getting to that. So yeah, it's like, it sounds like a love triangle, love something. I have no idea. I've heard great things about it, so I'm looking forward to it. I think the 4th one just released, so I don't know if it's just from the Brother Hawthorne's side of it, so we'll see. Just FYI, I don't know much of the premise of these books. Majorities I have a little bit of an idea, but in this book haul, we're just going with my feelings on it and how excited I am on it. I just want to show you what I got. So that's really what it is, because I'm a nosy Nelly for book hauls, and that is really what this is all about. So just be nosy Nelly. So there we go. So we have that. And again, as I mentioned, I just finished book 1 of Kingdom of the Wicked, and this is book 3, Kingdom of the Feared. I had been waiting. I think that's part of the reason why I was like waiting to start this series, was because I picked it up too late at the store, and I picked up the paperback instead of the hardback when I saw it, when it first intrigued me a couple of years ago. But yeah, so now that the book 3 is out in paperback, I'm really excited to get reading the series. So I did read book 1 last month, and looking forward to seeing. So far, that was a book that was like a 4-star, so I'm hoping it gets better as we go along as well. Okay, inserting this this clip in here somehow. I forgot to show you guys one of my new releases that I got. I read the ARC. I am on the ARC team for this author, but I also ordered this. I will have all the people covers, which I'm really excited for. And this is Madam by Sarah Kate. So yeah, so excited about it. But yeah, book 6 and the final installment of the Salacious Players Club series, and she's one of my favorite authors as well. So I'm so excited to have all these, and it is also signed by the author. And I also even ordered some art from her. It came with a bookmark and a postcard, but I also have some art for it. So some of these are NFSW, so I can't exactly show those exactly all the way. I'll try to do my best, but these are some character ones, so these are kosher. This is Emerson and Charlotte. That it was the ex-boyfriend's dad. And there's Garrett and Mia. This is which is such a weird thing because my daughter's name is Mia, so it drives me weird. It's weird. And that's like a step brother and sister romance, and not my favorite. For that whole reason, it gives me a little bit of ick. And then next is a White Shoes. This is a Hunter and Isabel and Drake. And then Maggie and Bo. And that is the son, the ex-boyfriend from the first one, Praise. This is from Mercy. So yeah, those are it. And then I have some MNSW ones. Hopefully YouTube doesn't knock me, but yeah, I will do there. So we got that. Got that. This is Garrett and Mia. The hiking scene. Get that. And we got Isabel, Drake, and Hunter. And just that scene. Just trying to do that. Very interesting position. And then this came with, for pre-ordering, Madam is this one. So yeah, it is cute. So yeah, those are it. I just thought it'd be cute to see, and that is it. On to your regular scheduled programming. And then at a library book sale, I think most recently this weekend, I picked up, I think I have book 1 and book 2, or book 1 and 3, I don't know. It's part of the issues with library sales or library book sales, is sometimes you'll get not the whole series, or like weird numbers in a series in a fantasy series or whatnot. So a lot of my books that I own on my bookshelves are like pieced and parceled because of that. So I think this one actually finishes, I think I have 2 of them, so we'll see how it goes. So I think it's actually over here. So yeah, it was 2 paperbacks, so I got it 2 different times. So we have The Warrior Heir, I think it's the first one. So this is by Cinda Williams Chima. I am looking forward to trying. There's another series by her that I'm really interested in trying. I can't remember what it's called. I'll pop a picture up here if I can remember. But yeah, that's book 1. I think The Wizard Heir, I think it's book 2 or book 3. I think there's like 6 books of the series, so I think I'm missing 2 of them. So we have that. Then The Sorcerer Heir, and then The Enchanter Heir. So let me know if you read this series. I know her other, like as I mentioned, her other series is really popular. So this is a YA fantasy as well. So I'm hoping to really like these. And really, it's really nice because those were like 50 cents paperback, I think, and the hardcover were like $1. So yeah, such a great thing to do. So this is the most expensive of my library book sales, because I just picked this up this weekend. This was $4. So sometimes they usually have, when they're nicer releases or just brand new releases, they'll charge it like $2 or $4 or $3, whatever kind of it is. But yeah, this is The River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I haven't heard too many talk about it, at least in the booktube space that I occupy. But I have heard mixed things about it as well. I know Christy reads a lot, didn't necessarily like it, but we'll see. So I'm interested in giving it a shot. That's for sure. And then next is, I really scored a big time with this author. So I've been hearing so many good things about this author. I just haven't gotten to it and picking it for a library to check out. But I did find the book 1 in the series and book 2 and 3 in another series by this author. I know this author also, in one of the series, it was just reprinted into a different like design cover. This first one is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I think it's basically about like two competing villains kind of a thing. So and I think this is a duology, so I can't remember the second one, but Vengeful. So I think, yeah, the second one is Vengeful. So the only one they had there at the library sale was just paperback of the book 1. And then next is another series, which is the Shades of Magic series. So this is they didn't have book 1. So again, somebody else probably picked up book 1 and didn't realize there was a whole series there. They just didn't want to pick up this whole series. That's kind of usually what happens at these library book sales, because they're donations and things like that. So this is V.E. Schwab, A Gathering of Shadows, and then book 3, Conjuring a Light, was actually a hardcover. So really nice condition. These are like practically brand new. Again, these were only, I think these were $3. So $3 and like $2. So I think YA is a little less, but like adult is at like a little more pricier at this one library. So they're a little bit like that. Some libraries are a little more expensive, some of them are not. So it just depends. A lot of these during the fall had a lot of like buy one get one. So if they're 50 cents, they turn to be like literally 25 cents a book. Sometimes they're like 25 cents for those paperbacks all the time. It just kind of depends. So that's really where I was able to get a lot of these, was because it was just like a massive sale. My local one usually has, they only have these book sales in the spring and in the fall. So that was the most recent one as well that had a lot of those. Another one I was able to find was The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I'm sorry if I am mispronouncing that, but that. This is book 1 in the series, so a lot of these is going to be really nice to do part of this challenge for next year. So yeah, I am definitely going to be doing a read it or unhaul it kind of challenge for next year, very similar to Books with Emily Fox. I will mention her channel down below, but I'm really excited to try to do that kind of challenge. I like the way that she does it, and it gives me a chance to kind of dip my toe into like a reading vlog type thing. Next, I did just recently read for September, the month of September, book 1, and this is one of those that are coming in and immediately going out of my physical TBR, or physical into my library. So this one is Make Habit Insatiable, and then book 2, Overbite. This is a Dracula retelling. It's definitely one of those that didn't age well. Let's just say that. After reading book 1, I remember this was a reread, because after reading this one, I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember. I read book 2 years ago, book 1 and 2, and I thought it was, the problem was I was thinking it was another series of like a vampire romance that I read, and then it was not what I thought it was, so it was the opposite one. So yeah, I did not enjoy this one as a Dracula retelling. It's kind of like very rom-com-y, kind of campy. When I remember the second one, it did not turn out very well. So yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It kind of makes fun of the whole surge of like vampire TV it's really kind of poking fun at a lot of Vampire Diaries, that TV show that was really popular around this time in the 2000s, 2006, and that kind of time period. So yeah. This is going to be on an Unhaul video someday soon. So yeah. I don't know how often I would do Unhaul videos. So far I'm planning probably only once or twice a year, if that. So I've already done one this year already. All right, next I have some more fantasy. This one I picked up and I just saw that I think she read book 2. I think these are standalones, I'm not exactly sure, but Hannah Blackwell, I think she just recently read one of these, or I can't remember. But this is kind of like a Dorkiri Bride series, Holland the Soulless, and by Denali Day. And I think this was in really great condition. And I think this is basically just a like a paranormal romance, fantasy romance, but it's very like closed door romance, I think. It's not really, there's not like spice, I think is basically what it is from my understanding. So there's like kidnapping and things like that. Yeah, it's kind of like a dark fantasy. Don't know too much about it, but it sounded really interesting. Next, I never heard of this. I just picked this up when I was just like browsing and reading the synopses. It's just an older book, so I was like, maybe it was popular before or not. But this one is, I think this is another problem with I have book 1 and book 2, or it's a trilogy, but I only have trilogy or quartet. I only have 2 of them. That is The Bloodprint and The Blade Bone, and this author is Asma Zinat Khan, which was really interesting because it looks to be something like a Middle East kind of vibe, and I kind of like that has a different kind of storyline than your typical fantasy. So that's really what intrigued me. It looks like it's taking place in like the Sahara Desert or something like that, Sahara Desert or something. So it looks really interesting. Sorry, I have my Invisalign in, so that's probably why you have a little bit of lisp that I can't speak exactly clear. But yeah, so it looked really kind of interesting. So I don't know when I would get to it, but it's just one of those, like, it caught my eye and I'm like, I'll give it a chance, why not? The next 2 I just picked up this weekend, and I know that Becky from Beck X Reads, she just finished East and she really loved it, so I'm like, that sounds great. I don't know if it's like a YA fantasy romance, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll have to go back and rewatch her video again, but she really enjoyed it. I think she rated a 5-star. It's East by Edith Patu. I think it's kind of, book 2 is West, so I was able to find both of those, and that sounds great. I mean, I looked out with that, and maybe I'll read it soon so that way I can catch up with Becky and we can kind of talk about it, because I have never heard of this book before she was talking about it, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. It has like a polar bear like shifter, and I think like 2 sisters or something like that share like a fate. I don't know, it's like a Beauty and the Beast kind of like maybe retelling. I don't know, it just sounds really interesting. Alright, so next one, I am building my library of all the books I read back when I was in like high school, college, and that kind of thing. In this series, I think I only read book 1 and book 2. And I know she's like a fairly popular author. I just never got, by the time I was reading her, I just forgot to read the rest of the series. But this is book 4 of the Mortal Instruments, City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. I think I own book 1 and like book 6. So now I have book 1, 4, and 6. So I'm trying to build my library up for that, and then once I have the full series, I'll probably start reading that, because I'll definitely want to start reading her series by publication order, I think, just to kind of get back into the Mortal Instruments series. So yeah, that is interesting. Next is pure nostalgia. As you know, I love Twilight. And I even own like the first edition Twilight of like the collector's edition, which is really cool. And this one I read years ago when it was out. I had a library checkout, I didn't buy it, so it was really nice. I've been seeing this book in like library book sales, but it wasn't exactly in great condition in those sales. This was the first time I picked it up and saw that it was actually in fairly good condition, and that is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. this is like a blast from the past. I have not read Midnight Sun or Twilight, but this is her sci-fi version, where there's like an alien or a parasite kind of like inside her head and that kind of thing. So it was really, really interesting when I read it back in high school, and looking forward to just having it for nostalgia's sake. Maybe I will reread it someday, I don't know. But there was supposed to be another book too, but as we know, Stephanie Meyer has not been, like some authors, not fulfilling their promises on continuing on reading, and I'm not an author, so I can't speak on that, so on the creative process at all. So yeah, this has 619 pages, so yeah, we have that one. Next is an author that I think I have some mass market paperbacks as well as this author, but I first heard of this author by Hannah Blackwell. She has, by the way, if you're not subscribed to her, you need to. She has great recommendations. I get a lot of my recommendations for fantasy from her, Becky, and Jess from Honest Fiction. They have great recommendations, as well as my friend April from Happily Ever April. So I highly recommend, I will link their channels down below, that you check out their channels. They have great recommendations. As well as books by Joanna too as well. So yeah, this is a Deadman's Cross trilogy. I think it's like a vampire pirates. So that sounds fun. I might save this for July because I feel like the summer is like when I'm really in the mood for pirate romances and pirates in general. So yeah. This is by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is Dead Men Walking. This is Death Doesn't Bargain. And then this is At Death's Door. So let me know, again, like, if you heard of this before. I know Hannah probably has, but I don't know if she's read this trilogy or not. So yeah, these are the library copies. But yeah, I just was really lucky in finding these, so looking forward to reading those sometime. Next is book one is in a really great condition as well. It is A Discovery, which is by Deborah Harkness. I watched the whole series on Stars, the 3 seasons this past fall, and I'm like, I loved it. It's a little bit more highbrow, and it does have academic setting at, like, I think, is it Yale College? I can never remember. It's vampires and witches. It's very highbrow, like I said. And that's what I heard the writing is like too, a little bit. But I don't know, I kind of like those vibes of just, it feels kind of cozy. You know, it's like the start of school and that kind of thing. So I definitely will probably read this series next fall. Just because after watching the series now I'm intrigued on the books as well. So I'll definitely be on the hunt for book 2 and 3 as well. Alright, so that is all the fantasy and like the big paperbacks that I have. Next we'll go on to some contemporary romance and some classics, and then work our way to historical romance, which I will probably put in part 2, to be honest. We'll just do a whole mass market paperback haul. How about that? Okay. Alright, so first I saw this at this library book sale, and I was like, it brought me back to being a kid in elementary school. I read the Elizabeth one, Queen Elizabeth one first, and I never read this one, but I just remember just loving it. And that's actually what started my love of historical fiction, especially like the Tudor period, was these kind of books. And that is the Royal Diary series. So I don't know, it has like gold foiling, and this one is in really great condition. This one is the story of Anastasia, so the last Grand Duchess. So these are all series just like in their perspective, them writing in their diaries. I just really loved these as a kid, and I know I just thought it'd be nice to have as nostalgia, and if my kids ever want to pick them up at all either too. So just, you know, just love it. Some classics that I picked up this past weekend at the library book sale, and this was just so nice to pick up. So these are actually in practically new condition, and these are the Barnes and Noble's Classics edition. I have first here Emily Bronte by Wuthering Heights. And then I have 2 books from Thomas Hardy, which I've been wanting to read by Thomas Hardy, especially Tess of the D'Urbervilles. So we have this. And then we have Far from the Madding Crowd, which I believe is his first ever published novel. So yeah, look at the classics there. And of course, I was really excited. It still has the 20% off sticker on it, so it's really kind of funny. But Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. So this is my favorite, I want to say historical romance really, but it's actually, you know, that is a classic. As well as Pride and Prejudice, of course, by Jane Austen. But I read that one several times growing up. But this one, I think, whenever I think of a gothic romance, this is what I think of. And that is exactly what I'm wanting when I say I want a dark gothic romance, is this. I do love my historical romance noir dark romances. But when I want a gothic romance, this is what I think of. So if you have any other recommendations for me, I have read Gothicana by Runix. That's also more contemporary. I do know she has like a historical prequel version coming out sometime soon, so I'll definitely be reading that. But if you have any recommendations that are like a gothic romance, like Jane Eyre, that kind of no gore. I don't really like the horror elements. Like the supernatural elements in this is a little, they're just enough that they're not like, I'm a big baby basically. I don't want to be too spooked. So yeah, that's for you with my romances. So yeah, really excited to own those, and that is just something that I will cherish for years to come. Next, I have some contemporary romances, and this will be the last stack. I think we'll end on here. Okay, so this one is, I was able to pick up at that library book sale where I picked up Insatiable, those vampire romances. They're like, somebody like just got rid of all their make habit. I just was so excited. I do remember reading these. I don't know, again, if these are going to age well. I just read her ARC, her new contemporary paranormal romance, like rom-com called Enchanted to Meet You, which is like great marketing for a title because it's like the Taylor Swift song. But yeah, I was highly disappointed in that. That was actually 1 star for me, so I DNF'd it. So yeah, definitely don't recommend that one. But I do love make habits like YA paranormal and fantasy. So I think to me that is where the sweet spot is. And I did enjoy these like contemporary romances or like women's fiction at the time. So I just don't know if, again, like I said, I don't know how well they will have aged. But I have make habit size 12 is not that. It has size 14, it's not that either. Make habit, big boned, and then size 12 and ready to rock. So yeah, I remember enjoying the series that I can recall. And it was really more of my first exposure to like contemporary romance, like kind of a thing. Next, last year I totally went into like a binge, and like it put me in like the weirdest, I don't know, manic is the right word to say, but the weirdest reading slump ever. And I didn't even finish the series. I think I still have like book 5 or like the wedding book to read. So I'm like, I'll pick these up as I see them at library book sales if I do. But this was highly influential by a few people here on BookTube last summer when they started rereading these. And this is the Crossfire novels by Sylvia Day. This one is Bare to You. I think this is the first one. And I think this is the second one. This is Reflected in You. So this is like very toxic romance, billionaire romance. So toxic, so angsty. Kind of like 50 Shades of Grey a little bit. There's not really too much BDSM or anything like that, but it's very just like a billionaire toxic romance, and it was really highly addicting. And if you want something that's just like potato chips that you just can't stop, and it's just so yummy and it's angsty and toxicity, I highly recommend picking these up. So yeah, they definitely, I don't know, they were satisfying. But I still never finished it because it put me in such a weird slump after. I was like, I got a little bit burned out. So I need to eventually read these again. But yeah, we'll wait for that time again. This one I almost practically squealed when I saw it. And And it's because it's really literally just a release. So this is book 1, and this is like one of my top 3 authors last year. That was new to me, and it's still a new author. I just need to read more of her backlist. And that is Kennedy Ryan, and this is The Kingmaker. I can't remember what the second one is called, but this literally just got released, and it's in like the new Bloom Books, traditionally published. So yeah, this was a very cool find. And I hear it's like really angsty, and I love that. So, which is really all of her books. I read Before I Let Go, and that was in my top 3 last year. So definitely a great writer and one of my favorite authors. So looking forward to eventually getting to this. I put this in the wrong order here, but as I mentioned, Meg Cabot's YA paranormal romance is like my favorite. This one, and I am rereading the series because I'm like, I want to get to this now. But this is what happens before Goodreads and all that kind of. This is like book 6 or so in the BDA series. This is Remembered by Meg Cabot. I was like, I'm so excited. This is a great condition. Again, I didn't know there was a book after book 6. So I think this is book 7. There's been several like novellas, like, and I don't really read novellas, but I didn't know there was book 7. So I'm like, I'm rereading them via audio. I think book 4 doesn't actually have an audiobook from my library, so I have to like, I'm going to have to read that physically, because I was rereading those on my commute to work, and now because of that I've been listening to other books on my commute to work. So like right now I'm trying to reread Fourth Wing, but you know, I digress. But yeah, I just can't believe, I'm like about a mediator, she could see ghosts, and her mom gets remarried and she has to move from New York to California, and she doesn't like old houses for obvious reasons, and there is this ghost named Jesse in her room, and he is just like kind of works proximity because he's like a ghost in a room, and he's tied to that room. And just over the book series, in every book there's like a resolution to help some sort of story about some ghost storyline, and Jesse is there throughout those, but over time they develop a relationship, like they fall in love kind of thing. So she falls in love with him, so obviously he's a ghost, so it's kind of like, how do you resolve that? So I love that series. I reread it several times. I'm rereading it now, so absolutely love the series, and can't wait to finally read this and just resolve this itch. Like, I'm like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. I have to read things in order, and I have to complete things eventually. And like, it bothers me that I didn't know about it. So, but you know, it is what it is. And next I have, as I mentioned before, 50 Shades of Grey. I now have Freed, which is the final one I've been looking for in Christian's perspective, by E.L. James. So yeah, nothing else more to say about this series. I am still, yes, I know it's not the best one out there, and it doesn't present BDSM relationships very well, but it's still just nostalgia, and I still love the series. I haven't read from his perspective. I think I read the first one via audiobook. Don't know if I enjoyed it as much, so I think I'm gonna eventually do a reread and then kind of tandem do the original and then his version. So I'll do that eventually sometime and see if I still feel the same and still enjoy it. But I just remember in college just like rereading these like constantly. So but yeah, that was like the start of my contemporary, was in college. So yeah, contemporary reading. And then this one is, I don't know this author too much. I don't know if this series is exactly the greatest. I don't know. I haven't really heard too much about it. If I have, what I saw on Goodreads was not very well, but like I said, I'll give it a shot. I don't know. But this is Maya Banks, the Breathless trilogy. I was able to find the whole trilogy. This one is Rush, and all the books just fell. This is fine. It's fine. Rush, that is Fever, and then Burn. So yeah, that's what we got. I know nothing about these. I truly don't. Oh, I think it follows, I don't know if like a white choose or it just follows each brother, and you know, again, it's probably like toxic, dark billionaire romance. I'm guessing something like that, you know, that's very, very popular nowadays. But yeah, I don't know if you read that one, let me know. But I have no frame of reference to that series or that author to know anything about it. So that is it. That is part 1. Part 2 will be all the historical romances. So if that is what you're here for, stay tuned. That'll be here. I will definitely probably link that below, or actually be tagged at the end of this video for you to watch next. As always, I will link my Instagram and Goodreads down below, as well as my Amazon wishlist. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.